Gibbs, driver of the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing. Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, this is Dylan Smith. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Amber Colvin, and I'd like to thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Let's Talk Racing with the giggle group in the back there.
It's okay.
Al's got to straighten up his hair. That you can see stuff on the big screen, you know.
That's pretty scary too.
So I'll bring you some glasses.
Yeah.
We got Krystal Hurr.
Hi guys, I'm back.
Albert Pearce from Auto Week magazine. Terry O'Connell.
Woo!
Drive out in the Sprint Car Series and
Yay!
over 500 wins in her racing career.
She's amazing.
And we got Jason Langley off to the side, hanging up there. Need to cut your legs off or something. But all right, you're up there. Anyway, we're gonna have a good old BS session tonight.
Oh boy.
All the stuff that's coming out, and new stuff that's going to be happening. What's the first topic you guys want to throw out there?
Oh boy.
I want to say something first.
Oh.
Okay.
The reason I'm so red-faced, I drove back from Homestead 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago with my convertible top down and had sunglasses on.
Oh.
So that's why I got sunburned. So
Do you want me to
I
get
haven't
some
been on a drunk
sunglasses
yet.
for you?
I haven't been out on a drunk or anything. I just look like it. So
yeah, well,
I got sunburned from driving
Is
up
that
the
your
highway.
story and you're sticking to it?
That's the truth.
I believe you. I believe you.
Came all the way from Homestead in one day.
yeah.
It's
That's a good story.
a true story.
I'm just saying.
Like straight up 95, as hard as I could go.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
No restrictor plates. There you go.
good deal. Well, Al's got all the scoop since he's at the races every weekend. So, what's the latest and the greatest gossip going on?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit him with this quick. What was your thoughts on the finishes on all the series? How everybody wound up?
Yeah, that's good.
Points
Well,
wise.
I thought it was cool that at all three of the final races, at some point during the race, the guy who became champion was not the champion.
Right.
At some point during the nationwide, I mean, start with trucks on Friday. At some point during the truck race, I think maybe even Ty Dillon was ahead in points.
Yeah.
By maybe one or two. Then he got crashed by that Kyle Larson kid. In the nationwide race, I think Sadler at one point was either close to being in the lead or was in the lead.
He was too.
And even though Stenhouse ended up winning it, at one point during the race, Sadler was leading in points if things had played out. And in Cup, Jimmy Johnson was actually either a point ahead or a point behind or whatever. Jimmy Johnson was so close at one point on the Sunday afternoon race that he could have been the champion. So they went to Homestead with 8 different drivers in position to win the 3 championships.
Right.
And at some point during the weekend, I think 6 of the 8 were leading. I don't know that Timothy Peters was ever leading in the truck race.
I think he led at least one lap because he got a point on.
But I mean, leading in point standings.
Oh,
The TV says as
yeah,
they're running.
He was.
Okay, as they run right now. Yeah, the race ended right now. This is what we'd have.
Exactly.
Well, the race isn't going to end right now unless something's really strange going to happen. So I thought it was cool, and people complain about the chase. They complain about the new point system, which is now 2 years old. 2 years old. But I tell you, for what they wanted it to do, it did it.
It did it.
It accomplished. It accomplished what they wanted
It
it
was
to
really
accomplish.
exciting, actually.
Particularly, I mean, the last lap of the truck race was great. With Cale Gale and Kyle Busch together.
Yeah.
So it was, the Cup finale was a little bit anticlimactic when Johnson went to the garage. You knew that was over. But the fact that he actually fell to third in points was interesting. He'd been, we all thought he was going to win it, and he finished third. So.
And the fact that Jeff Gordon won and Boyer was second.
Yes. Without contact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there were lots of things to write about.
Yeah.
Well, because one of the things I thought of was that on one of the shows they were talking about, will a non-chase racer or driver win a race?
Win a race, right.
And at Homestead it was awful close to that because Kyle Busch was out front a lot.
Yeah.
Till nighttime fell.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch had the most uncanny ability all year to be leading with 10 to go
I know.
and not win.
Right, exactly.
And he only won Richmond because Edwards got caught on that bogus early restart deal,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Right.
But I mean, I sat there Sunday night. I sat there Friday night when he was leading the truck race with 1 to go. And I said, "Nah, he ain't gonna win," And I said, in the nationwide race, he ran great, didn't win it, and then on Sunday he ran great. But and Bush may not say this publicly, but I'll bet you if you ask him in a dark, deep moment, he will tell you that when Joe Gibbs told him, "I don't want you running nationwide full time," that's when his season went to hell.
Right.
Because you look at how many races he won when he was running 40 or 50 or 60 or 80 races a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at what he was doing when he was running everything he could get into. And as soon as Gibbs said, we'd rather you not do the nationwide race, he just seemed to lose interest.
Yeah.
So he won what? He won one cup race.
One cup race.
And that was it.
Yeah.
He didn't win any nationwide. He didn't win any trucks.
But his brother won in his car.
Yeah.
At Richmond.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting that Bush had this unique ability to be good until it counted.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he couldn't finish.
Couldn't close it out.
And to come into the media center Friday night and complain about Cale Gale, please give me a break.
I know.
Are you telling me
I know.
if you had not been on the inside, you wouldn't have shoved him into the wall too?
Right.
Come on, grow up.
And that was one of those things that looked like it actually was a true racing.
Oh, it was a great finish.
Yeah.
It was a great finish.
I mean, now Kyle's done really good when he's been in the trucks. He's run in the top 5 and top 10 for most of the race when he's been in the trucks.
Oh yeah.
It's just been one of those years. It's been, where he just couldn't close the deal.
But he's also runs 120 races last year,
Right.
or this past year.
No, not this past year.
The year before last.
Year before, yeah, in 11, he ran a mess of races.
Yeah.
Well, that they were telling. Then the commentators are a little screwed up on speed and everything because they were saying this year he had run 120 races, but he's been running sprints.
No. You know who they're talking about?
That's
Kyle Larson.
That's what I was talking about. Was Kyle
We're
Larson?
talking about Kyle Busch.
Sorry, I meant to say Larson. Sorry.
Rewind and come back in and
Really?
catch up with us.
Pause with you, okay?
Yes. Kyle Larson's run.
Okay.
He may be running somewhere right now, for all I know.
Yeah.
But Kyle Busch's season, I think, winning the dumper when Joe Gibbs said, we'd rather you concentrate on Cup and not do anything else.
Right.
Because he's the kind of guy, Kyle Busch, the kind of guy who's got to be in there. He can't stand to watch a race without being in it.
Right.
Yep.
So
It does something to his brain that he's not out there.
The thing that kicked me over to the Kyle thing was the Cale Gale thing, because I was thinking about when Kyle.
It was Kyle Busch and Cale Gale.
Oh, that's
they
right.
were beating each other for the win.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's the guy who wrecked with Ty Dillon.
Yeah.
Right.
And may have taken Dillon out of the championship.
Right.
At that moment. So. You know,
I have an opinion about that wreck too.
I bet you do.
Oh boy. Here we
Ty came down on him.
I think his spotter was saying he's coming low, and I think he just
trying to.
I think he did the whole Tony Stewart thing that happened at Talladega to some degree, and it was just when you got that momentum diving to the bottom, there you know what you're going to run into something if they come down on you. So it is what it is.
See if you can bluff him into backing out.
Yeah.
Oops.
Trying to cut him
Yes,
off.
I did.
Come down, cut him off, see if it works.
Yeah.
Oops, didn't work.
Didn't back up.
Right. So.
Guys at the shop got more work to do this week.
And I got to say something too.
The rest of the year.
Retracking back to the race at Phoenix when Gordon and Boyer got into it. Let me tell you something. Boyer had a head of steam up, and he went down low, and he got in those marbles too, and it was about a 50-50 split on who wrecked who. Jeff was intending to wreck him, but I guarantee you there was no room for margin once a Boyer went to the bottom. I think he got on the outside. Jeff clearly turned him. I think it caught Jeff as much off guard by him going underneath him, and so you know they can say what they want to say. Tape really doesn't lie because he was in those marbles down below him, and he was coming, and Jeff.
Now, did you get to watch the video footage of Clint? Boy, he was NFL boys ought to be looking for that guy because he was doing some moves. He's leaving the camera people behind.
You should see my.
All for naught.
Oh yeah, that's my brother's. He pulls for Gordon, and I was telling him he was just moving into his apartment. He didn't have a TV yet, so I was updating him on the race, and I was like, "You just missed it." He's like, "What I missed?" I said, "Your guy's getting in a fight, and he's getting beat to the ground."
It was cool though. It was cool. Yeah. It was fun.
But can you imagine? Can you imagine the repercussion if Keselowski had gotten mixed up in that deal?
God, I know.
I mean, it was bad enough that poor old Joey Logano got wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
But my God, if Keselowski had wrecked in that mess, and Johnson had won the championship by 20 points. You talk about your conspiracy theories.
Oh my.
Should
we get started on that, or should we even
all week long? I kept bugging Joey Meyer, Keselowski spotter. Are you nervous yet? Are you nervous yet?
I'm telling you.
I bet they were. They claimed they weren't, but
yeah, they had to be. They had to be.
You just wake up Sunday morning, you think, "Oh my God, we screw up one time, we're done."
That's it.
And it was Johnson's crowd that screwed up in the pits.
They did. They did.
But they could have overcome that. They could have overcome that, but the gear killed them. It just And like him or not, cheater or whatever, Canals had a great game plan.
He did.
Yeah.
They went a couple of laps each time before they stopped.
Yeah.
They kept building that little bank of laps. And boy, when he came back out, and they said he hadn't got to stop again, and we know Keselowski does have to stop. I said, they're gonna steal this thing.
Yeah.
Come on in for that pit stop. We'll go 2 laps down now. We can relax.
Yeah.
I didn't, again, that they would have gotten back on the lead lap and probably would have led. Wouldn't have won the race. That would have finished maybe good enough to won it by a point or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Brad's car was probably fifth place car, maybe.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, he got up to his highest third, I think.
Third.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's pushing that hard anyway. As hard as he's.
Yeah. It was good stuff though. There was a lot of drama. The whole race had drama all through it.
Oh.
And at the very end of it, the gas minus thing that played out to Gordon and Boyer's favor, that was interesting because you're just thinking, of course, Boyer was catching him a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't know what Jeff was doing
He'd
either.
probably save it a little bit.
But it was, so the media got to have a little bit of, ESPN got to have a little bit of a
fun with that
buzz on it.
They were hoping they'd get up to each other, I'm sure.
So run through, what's all the changes now with the drivers that we've got so far that's coming up for this year?
Oh my.
This is your brain workout, Al.
Well, I mean, we know Kendis is going from Roush to Gibbs. Logano is going from Gibbs to Penske. Hornish is going from Cup and Nationwide back to Cup. Stenhouse is going from Cup from Nationwide to Cup. Trevor Baines going from wherever he is to full-time Nationwide for Jack. Let's see. I can't remember all of them.
There's a lot. That's how many there are.
Who was it's going to Tony? Well, that's not till 14.
Regan Smith is going to.
Yeah, Regan Smith is going to drive Nationwide full-time for JR.
Who's going to drive for Phoenix Racing?
Allmendinger will start the year out.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
We heard Elliott Sadler's going to go to Gibbs.
Yeah, he's got a Nationwide deal with Gibbs.
With the same sponsor.
James Busher likely will go from Turner Truck to Turner Nationwide.
Yeah.
PK is trying to get a Nationwide ride, and he's got enough money that he might be able to get one.
Right. All right.
You sort of amazed at guys who've got rides that you wonder how do they keep them?
How they keep the ride? Exactly. I do. Yeah.
Now before this
money.
Before the show, you guys are having an interesting conversation I want you to bring up again.
Danger.
Oh.
Yes.
More danger, less danger.
And the popularity thing too.
Well, I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can orchestrate danger. You can't create it. Now you can take great advantage of it when it presents itself,
right?
As NASCAR's partners do,
right?
But I mean, some races, just like guys have said for years, some races just aren't as good as others. It's just the way it is.
Right.
I mean, I have seen races at Talladega when there were no cautions.
Right. Right.
I think Mark Martin won a caution-free race at Talladega maybe 15, 18 years ago, maybe less. And then you see them like you had back in October when people wreck out 25 cars with 2 miles to go. So, you can't predict where it's going to happen, but you can sure as hell take advantage of it with replays and ads and TV spots and all this kind of stuff.
I've seen some commercials from like Infineon. They've used stuff from like the early '90s and there were crashes and stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I'll see when I'm seeing a commercial for a race, they usually show like they show the big wrecks that used to happen because that usually grabs people's attention. They're like, oh man, that looks crazy, that looks dangerous, that looks interesting. And see, even though it's bad, because on the driver's side, that's not good for them. That costs for their car. They could also get injured. But for the people on the outside, they're like, man, that looks really cool. That's interesting. I want to see what that's about. And they're like, why is that happening? And it really grabs your attention.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to remember of course the Allison Yarborough fight at Daytona in '79 was the fight or the wreck or the moment that kind of got this stuff going.
Right.
I remember the time that Rusty flipped at Talladega down the front stretch, that Sadler wrecked over in turn 3 at Talladega, and Phil Parsons went through the wall, and Jimmy Horton went out of the racetrack at Talladega.
Right.
Those things are happening, and there's still footage of them, and I'm sure they use them.
Yeah.
I think NASCAR is careful to draw the line. I don't think you'll ever see a driver get killed.
Right.
You'll never see a wreck in which somebody gets killed.
Right.
The fact that Carl Edwards got up in the grandstands at Talladega when Keselowski won his first race,
Right.
they'll show that footage, people got hurt, nobody got killed.
Right.
The truck wreck at Daytona with Bodine,
Right.
lots of folks got hurt, nobody got killed. They don't mind showing it. The big fire, the jet dryer fire at Daytona last February.
Yes.
They show that all the time.
Right.
That was huge. That was crazy.
And that right there too is the Allison crash on the front straightaway.
At Talladega, yeah.
Really,
Bobby got up in the wall. Yeah.
I was there, by the way, sitting about 100 yards up the racetrack.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what brought about restrictor plates.
Yeah.
Insurance company said, we can't have this.
Not so much.
Yeah. All right, Roger's throwing a bunch of stuff up there we're supposed to be talking about.
I'm just while y'all are going, I'm just researching stuff.
He's researching, doing random things like he usually does.
Well, Todd Bodine is allegedly
apparently out at Red Horse.
Townley brings his family money.
Well, see, Townley, John Rex Weekly.
Right.
Is that his last name and middle name?
Yeah,
John Rex Weekly.
I don't know how much money his father's got, but there better be a lot.
There better be a lot.
Because Childress couldn't keep him happy.
No.
Although John Menard's done a pretty good job keeping Childress and Paul Menard happy.
Right. Right.
It's interesting. The Truck Series can run at 2 new venues this year. They still stay at 22 races, but they're going to Canada and they're going to the dirt track at Eldora.
Right.
And for the life of me, I can't remember what 2 races are they replacing.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, they've got 22 of this year. They got 22 next year. But I don't remember where they're dumping 2 to pick up 2.
Right.
I looked at the schedule. But I'm telling you right now, Ty Dillon will win the truck race at Eldora. Right now.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Yeah. I think you're probably right on the
Didn't he have the practice time with Tony out there too?
Well, that doesn't mean anything though.
He's a dirt racer.
He grew up on dirt.
Yeah, he's a dirt racer.
He and Austin both.
And if Kyle Larson's running the Truck Series, he'll.
Well, okay,
they'll go.
Yeah.
Well, there. That could be the rivalry for the Truck Series anyway between those two.
Mm-hmm. That could work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every sport has a rivalry.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool.
You think Tony Stewart will be out there?
Probably.
Do what?
Tony Stewart should be out there.
I don't think he'll run it.
You don't
Really?
think?
I would bet he.
A driver.
If I were a betting man, I would bet he will.
A driver racing in his own race with nothing. Now, the Prelude's one thing. That's a charity event, no points, no glory, yada yada yada.
Right.
I don't know that Tony would put himself in the middle of a points paying championship type of situation, racing a truck at his own track. I'll be surprised if he does.
Yeah.
He might. But I don't think so.
So what's the minimum age gonna be on the Truck Series? 16?
16.
That's amazing.
That's the Chase Elliott rule.
16?
That's exactly what that is.
Chase Elliott rule. That's about right.
And I guarantee they'll give him some truck races.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty good in K&N.
Yeah.
And he's won there and won poles and all.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, boy, he's a firecracker little driver.
Yeah.
But that step from K&N up to even to trucks,
it's
pretty significant.
It's a big step.
And I don't think NASCAR will let him go from K&N to running nationwide. He might, knowing it's him, but Bill would probably feel better giving him some truck races.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why they moved the age down.
Interesting.
But Larson's only 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny that the young talent that seems to be on the horizon has come from somewhere other than the lower NASCAR series.
Exactly.
Like Kyle Larson was a open wheel dirt sprint car driver.
Right.
Actually, Ricky Stenhouse
same thing
came in from sprint cars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did y'all go over about Bodine was also out at Red Horse. Todd Bodine.
Yeah, it's a question mark by it. We don't know yet. Most likely. But he will get a ride next year somewhere.
Yeah.
There'll be a ride somewhere for him.
But so far at this point, they don't have any sponsors, so
Right.
that's what they.
Well, Peters will stay in it, I guess.
Yeah, Timothy's still got sponsorship,
And Townley will bring money.
and he's bringing family money.
Yeah,
That's
so-
already
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there.
Bodine might find something.
I think Kligerman is looking to do something in the Nationwide Series, right? Parker Kligerman.
Yeah.
Is what
Yeah.
looking for the,
You know, you kind of wonder what happened between he and Roger.
I know. You just wonder about that.
Because he was a Penske guy, and,
Yeah.
you know, you sort of think, well, what if Roger, or what if Roger had wanted to keep Hornish in Nationwide,
Right.
and maybe have another Nationwide car for Kligerman.
Right.
I don't know.
Interesting stuff.
Something happened there with that crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, the internal politics that you just never know when you think something's nice and rosy, then it's not. You just wonder about that.
And talking about Bodine, Jeff Bodine has finally said, "That's it. I'm not going to try to race
He said
anymore."
that 3 months ago.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
we didn't report it yet, so what the heck?
I believe
Well,
he
he
did.
just didn't.
I think he did.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff Bodine won his first covered wheel race, as they call them, out here
Oh, really?
at Langley,
Wow.
Wow.
driving for Manuel Zavakis
So, yeah.
Oh,
on a Saturday night. He and Sonny Hutchins were teammates. Not the best of buddies, but
The
teammates.
teammates. Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's
So,
funny.
some things happen that way. I don't know why.
Oh, here's a good thing to check around.
oh
What's
boy.
that?
What is the over and under? What are the odds that Kevin Harvick will begin the season at RCR next year?
Ooh.
And then, what are the odds that he finishes the season at RCR? If they get off to a bad start and Harvick gets bitching and moaning,
Yeah.
Childress may say, "Hey, listen, you got a ride waiting for you in 14.
Oh
Go.
boy.
Don't let the door hit you." Austin, come here, son.
Right.
Oh.
We'll make you a star.
Yep.
We're going
Yeah.
to put you to black number 3.
I was going to say number 3 will pop out too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I asked
Yeah.
Austin about that. I talked to Austin at Homestead, and I asked him, I said, have you and your brother ever raced each other a whole, excuse me, a whole series together? They said, no. He said, we've always been 1 year apart coming up.
Yeah.
When I was in trucks, he was in ARCA. When I was in Nationwide, he's in trucks. When I get to Cup, he'll be in Nationwide. But I said, 2 years for each step. He said, don't count on it.
So
Right.
now here's
He said that Ty will run some Nationwide next year to get ready. And he said, I'll run some Cup next year to get ready.
Right.
And he said, if things don't go like they should, I may get in Cup next year so that Ty will be there in 14 when I've already, he said, I may have already been there for, say, half a year. It was really funny. He said, just say I'm there for, half a year.
Right.
I'm there for half of 13.
Just say.
Just say.
Just
I'm
say.
there for
Just
half of 13. And then Ty comes in 14 as maybe as the truck champion or Nationwide, whatever. He said, there may be, the process may be compacted.
Right. Well, who
So-
gets the 3 car?
Oh, I think Austin will.
Austin will get it.
Being the elder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ty will probably get the 29 car.
Or 30, well, yeah, whatever number they want to give him. 33 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
03, I don't know.
Interesting stuff.
But I'll tell you what, it was fairly obvious at Phoenix when they made that announcement that it was not. They said that they kept saying the word leaked out,
Yeah.
and I said they let it escape.
Yeah.
They opened the door and
It
said, "Okay,
escaped.
rumor, go."
Leaked out on purpose.
Yeah. And Childress was not happy. Richard was not happy. I think obviously he knew it was coming,
Right.
but he didn't want it to happen with 2 races to go,
Right.
being that far from home and having to answer questions about why are you losing your driver in 14.
Oh yeah.
And he probably wanted to say, who said I'm losing him in 14? I may lose him Sunday afternoon.
He may already be gone.
And it would not be the first time. You've seen where somebody will be announcing, I'm going to be racing with so-and-so in the next year.
Oh, yeah.
And next thing you know, within 2 races, you're out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Although when Casey Kane announced his deal, he still had a full year at Petty and a full year at Red Bull.
Right.
So he had 2 lame duck situations, and they kept him.
Right. Right.
And I was talking to my friend Dave Hart, who works with Childress, and he pointed that out to me. I said, yeah, but the difference is that Richard liked Casey and Red Bull liked Casey. And if you like the guy you've got,
That's true.
you can put up with a little bit.
Right.
I'm not sure that's the case at your shop. He said, point well taken. So,
absolutely.
Well, Casey Kane locked in the sponsorship with Great Clips for the Sprint Cup Series for next year, too.
I saw that. You got 9 races, maybe?
Yeah,
Something
just
like that?
about that.
Now,
That's cool.
you had a story to share with everybody.
The what?
Terry had a story to share with
Oh, yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Story time.
well, you know.
Story time, everybody. Gather around.
Maybe next year.
Well, I have a really good friend, Russ Thompson, who I grew up racing go-karts with. Well, karts, not go-karts, but karts. But we were all proteges of Lake Speed. So, and Russ runs the stats for ESPN and for NBC. And so we're always talking about stuff. But he, so he knows everything. He's like Al. He knows all the little stuff that goes on because he has to feed it to the on-air people. But when Lakes first started his Cup career, you know, he did it on his own, and he hired Daryl Derringer to be the team manager. Of course, the legendary Daryl Derringer, you know, and Daryl Derringer was one of the ones who did a lot of the NASCAR testing for the interliner stuff. So there's a lot of great stories. And I got to know Daryl too, but Russ posted a story on the Nashville Speedway's website, a blog about one weekend when Daryl Derringer was racing for Bud Moore back in 1964, where he and Bud were having a meeting of the minds about Daryl was not driving the car hard enough to suit Bud, and they were arguing with one another. So, in practice, Daryl would go out and run laps, come back in and complain. Go out and run laps, come back in and complain. So they didn't got to the point like Harvick and Childress of who was going to be right and who was going to be wrong over this thing. So finally, Bud, they did some changes to the car, and Bud told Daryl, now look, just drive it to the gate before you let off. And there was a gate down in turn 3 that you crossed, and it was right in the corner too. So Daryl just kind of looked at him like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So the next practice, he just got in the car, pulled his seatbelts down as tight as he could stand them, did a couple of hot laps, and hollered off into turn 3, and didn't let off till he got to that gate, and tore the fence down because he was going so fast he couldn't turn. So anyway, long story short, they hauled the car back on the record. And they had to work on it, and it was hot in August. And Bud and his whole crew were out there working on the car, and Daryl had his rental car parked over there beside where the race car was, and he had an air conditioner on it. So he got in his car, and he just sat in the car with the motor running with the air conditioner on it, and he'd roll the window down every 15 minutes and say, "Hey, how you coming on the car?"
Oh my god!
So that's a great story. Finally, they got it fixed. He ended up qualifying like in the top 5. He ran 6th the next day, and it's always called the gate. He was always aggravating Bud Moore for the next 2 or 3 years that he drove for him about, I'll just drive it to the gate down through there.
I heard a similar story that Ned Jarrett told about running the dirt track somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was so dusty, you just couldn't. And all during practice, he just couldn't see. And finally, whenever we talked to somebody, I don't know who it was, And he said, how come, he asked this guy, said, how come you're going so much deeper in the corner than I am? And he said, well, see the infield over there? See that white pickup truck? That's just about where I let off.
Yeah.
And Bud said, yeah, that's a great idea. So Bud went out, Ned went out, and Ned was practicing, and Ned learned when he looked over and saw the pickup truck, that was time to let off. No matter how bad the dust was, that was the place to turn.
Exactly.
The white pickup truck. So they practiced and qualified that night. And
Somebody
race time.
Somebody moved the truck.
Y'all know what's coming, don't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
Come race time on the first lap, Ned goes down the corner, looks over it, and by the time he realizes the truck's not white where it used to be, there's a wall right in front of him.
It's too late.
And Ned said, I guess the guy left for dinner and come back and parked, 50 feet deeper into the corner. He said, I didn't last a lap. I didn't get to the first corner before I wrecked that thing. But man, if the truck had been where it was supposed to be, I'd have handled him that night. I'd have been good that night.
Oh, absolutely.
Lord.
Those guys have got the great stories.
They do.
Oh, God.
But the young guys, these new kids, and I mean anybody under 40,
Right.
they don't know, they have no clue.
I know. You're right.
The great Buddy Baker story about wrecking at Smoky Mountain.
When he's on the
and
stretcher.
being on the stretcher, and the ambulance goes up to the hill,
That's a
and
great story.
Baker rolls out the back.
He's strapped in it.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I didn't hear this story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
that
I'll
sounds
have to
good.
lend you. I think I know where they're at. I've got the 5 VHS series
Right.
of all where the legends of NASCAR get together and they do 10 hours worth of storytelling.
Oh,
it is great.
It's fabulous.
Did you hear the one about, and Cale Yarborough told a story one day when Cale was driving for Junior. Cale had kind of a wildlife refuge at his farm in Timmonsville.
Right.
And Cale wanted a bear.
Yeah.
What?
You've heard this story.
I heard this is a great story.
Cale Junior Johnson arranged with somebody out in the mountains of Carolina to get a medium-sized brown bear or black bear, I don't know which, tranquilize him. Cale would fly in. They'd put him in a cage, put him in Cale's airplane, and Cale would drive flying back to Timmonsville, where he had his own landing strip. Well, somewhere along the way, the tranquilizer dart wore off early, and the bear woke up, and there's Cale Yarborough flying by himself in his own plane, and a big old bear in a cage trying to get out. And and the way Cale tells it, he just managed to land the airplane holding the gate closed because the bear had come wide awake by now. The bear's wide awake by now. And by God, he's going to get out of that cage. Now, where he's going to go, we can only surmise. The cockpit ain't that big.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Cale was saying, I was thinking, if I open the door, kind of push him out, and those kind of stories, those guys tell them, and they're so funny, and they're so real.
I know. You feel like you're right there with them.
And all these guys now talk about is, well, I was at Talladega one night, my motor coach, and the cable went out.
Right. Exactly.
I had to watch regular TV. I mean, really, exactly.
My Twitter's down.
Yeah, right.
Can't tweet. Oh, shit.
My Twitter's down.
I like some of the ones, like say one of the guys cut off his nose on one of them.
That was Cale Yarborough.
Yeah. Then there was
the night Junie Donlevy was going to Atlanta, and Junie was in the back of. They had a white Ford Econoline van.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 people, maybe 6 or 8.
Yeah.
One of the big, long white vans.
Like an F-350 type thing. Or
yeah,
something.
and Junie, being the team owner, he had the right to lay across the back seat and sleep while everybody else drove.
Oh no!
And they left the shop at midnight one night on a Friday, going to Atlanta, or Thursday night, going to Atlanta on Thursday night. They stopped at a rest stop in Durham. There used to be a rest stop on the right side of 85 in Durham, and everybody got out to do their stuff. And Junie kind of woke up, looked around, they were all gone. So Junie crawled out the back and went in the restroom, and apparently went in a door where they were coming out. They all got in the van, counted heads, took off. They got to Charlotte for breakfast and looked back, and Junie wasn't there. And this is a time now. Remember, this is probably 25 years ago.
No cell phones.
No cell phones. Exactly.
No cell
Be
phones.
thumbing.
Lord.
Junie talked.
Holy cow.
Junie talked a long haul truck driver who was at that rest stop to give him a ride to Charlotte. He knew if he got to Charlotte by 9 o'clock in the morning, he could call Elmo Langley, and Elmo would take him to Atlanta, because Elmo drove down on that Friday morning.
Yeah.
And the way Junie tells it, you're falling off the chair
He's
listening
got
to him.
the Virginia accent thing going on.
And Junie said, they realized at Charlotte I wasn't there. And they had no way of finding out where I was.
Oh my God.
And he said, Elmo and I got to the racetrack, and I thanked him kindly, and I went walking down the garage area, and I see all of my boys lined up. They all had their arms folded as if they knew what was coming.
It was an ass chewing big time.
And Junie said, from that moment on, we had a head count system where everybody had to say, here. You don't assume the owner's in the back seat asleep.
Do an attendance run or something.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
When's the last time an owner got in a van and drove to a racetrack with a bunch of his crewmen?
Yeah.
Other than James Finch, maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Roger Penske's not going to be doing that.
I wouldn't think so. No.
Not.
Now,
Gonna do
then
it.
there was the one where, who was it? They were towing a race car, and apparently somebody didn't lock down the race car really good, the
That
trailer.
was Ned Jarrett.
And the trailer passed him, shot off, jumped the fence, jumped the creek, then trying to get the car back out.
Yeah, I know.
There's some good stories there.
I know.
I know Langley had a few of them where Dale Earnhardt would play with him on the when he's driving the pace car right there at Talladega.
Oh yeah, he'd bump them, carry on with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One night we were racing midgets down in Montgomery in the indoor race, and this guy that I actually have a broke leg, so I wasn't racing, but one of our friends had a motorhome. So when we left, we were following him in a motorhome. He just drove off and left us, and he had his trailer, his double-decker trailer with the midgets on it, and we passed him on the side of the road, and he's pulled over, and the tongue he broke out of the trailer. So they got it kind of jury-rigged and got it to the service station, and they welded it up, and we went on our way. Well, it wasn't 3 hours later, when we're getting up towards northern Alabama, he passes us, wide open, and just kept on going. About 30 minutes later, we come up, and it looked like a 747 had crashed in the middle of the highway.
Oh, jeez.
And this was pitch light. It's like 12 o'clock at night. And you can see flashlights doing. We pull up, and the tongue broke out of that trailer again, and the trailer went off and hit a bank and slung, and just stopped, and it slung all the race cars and all the parts down a 4-lane highway. It looked like it had crashed a 747 jet. It was amazing.
Holy crap.
It was so, you know.
It is truly amazing when you figure out how many miles each hauler driver drives in a season.
Yeah.
As many times they're on the road. It's amazing that I don't know but maybe 1 or 2 moments when a hauler driver ever really dumped one.
Right.
I know Marcus's truck wrecked at Watkins Glen trying to go down one of those mountain hills and couldn't stop.
Right.
I don't know. Who?
I mean, like we had one a couple of years ago caught on fire, I believe. Remember that?
Front row racing. Furniture row racing.
Okay.
Caught on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, because Childress sent out.
Yeah.
Childress sent something out to help him, I believe.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen very often. They
No.
reckon. It's amazing.
And you know what? In the odds to that, you're right. That it's amazing what the odds will even be with the miles that they run.
You figure 40. You figure 40. Say 45 haulers.
Yeah.
Because you got the Goodyear truck and a NASCAR truck and the Champion Tire truck. You might have 50.
The NASCAR hauler.
You may have 50 haulers leaving a racetrack,
and
leaving Phoenix, going back to Charlotte.
Broadcasting the race too.
Right.
Leaving Phoenix, going back to Charlotte, fast as they can.
I know.
They hadn't dumped one by now.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
Now, another thing you guys were talking about before the show was you're talking about how popularity plays into things. Do we dare turn that up? Because I was talking about Earnhardt Jr. and my mom liking him, and then you made a comment about
the most popular drivers
popular
with Danica
famous.
and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah. Well, it's all. I think if I'm not mistaken, all that voting is done online now.
Right.
Yeah.
You can vote every day if you want to.
Sure.
Yep.
You can eat Cheetos and vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just. I'm sorry. You
No
can't.
pun intended.
You just can't convince me that Bill Elliott was the most popular driver all those years when he was such a pain in the ass to deal with.
I know. I know.
He was just.
I mean, it
late in his career when he wasn't winning a whole lot.
Woo.
He was just horrible to deal with. Didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to do TV. Didn't want to do ads. Just didn't want to meet the fans. But his fan club, give him credit.
Yeah.
His fan club was so well organized.
Sure.
And they had so many people in that crowd. They would relentlessly vote him in. And
That's true.
and I don't, you know what? I don't doubt for a second that the year that Big Dale got killed, that he was the most popular.
Right.
He ran one race.
Right.
But that's one of the few times I never really questioned whether NASCAR was naming the most popular driver for their own, good
Marketing, public relations aspects
marketing.
of it. Right.
I think he probably was most popular driver without any question.
Yes.
And I don't believe for a second that people vote for Junior. They vote for his old man.
Right. Right. Junior. And you could see the handwriting on the wall with Danica too, the marketing campaign that they put into it. It was going to be what it was going to be. And that's me.
I wrote a story for my
I
magazine.
was like, Roger, really? And I realized it wasn't you because you looked around.
Nah.
I wrote a story for my magazine that I
It
wrote
was
today
yours.
and sent in, and it said that there were moments last year or this year in the Nationwide Series when what did I say? An outside observer had wandered through the garage, and he would have thought Danica Patrick was a race-winning, lap-leading championship contender.
Absolutely.
Because everybody was all around her.
Based on
hanging around.
everything that was going on.
Exactly.
And that NASCAR paraded her out. And they paraded her out, and I got verification, every weekend last year, last season. She did a media thing, either Cup or Nationwide or both.
Right.
Every weekend she did something.
Right.
She was in program covers. She was on billboards. She was TV ads. I got nothing in this edition since Homestead.
Yeah.
I came back from Homestead and said, I'm taking a week off. Leave me alone.
Don't bother me. Don't bother me.
But we'll let you be.
But there is stuff there earlier. If you go to the NASCAR site, Roger, while you're there.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, when Danica was back in the IndyCar series, they used to quote her as the Indy 500 lap leader. Then after she won an IndyCar race, and she was an IndyCar winner.
Is there actual NASCAR link on here somewhere?
Yeah, just go to the top.
Yeah, well, she did lead a lap in
right there, it says
she
racing.
didn't lead the most laps.
Click it on
It's
NASCAR.
very
There
misleading.
you go. Ta-da.
Absolutely.
Eldora, I didn't write that because I wasn't home. Well, go down here where it says Keselowski wins first Sprint Cup for Penske, right there.
Okay.
There you go.
There you are.
Scroll down,
Pearce.
Scroll down. Read. Somebody read that first
All
paragraph.
By
And
the-
tell me if that's not cool.
By the time the celebration finally ends, maybe around the middle of next Tuesday, we might have some vague idea what kind of NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Brad Keselowski will become. For sure, we know he'll be free-willing and fun-loving and wide freaking open. I'm sorry. He'll be hip and cool and Twitter literate. Some of the some of the things that old
crotchety.
Let's talk
sorry, long-time NASCAR fans aren't, and help bring exuberance and swagger to stock car racing that we haven't seen in a while.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Way to go.
All of which is true.
Way to go.
All which is true.
I even made up the word. I didn't make up crotchety.
That's what I was
but I had to look it up to be sure.
I was like, that's why I stopped at that word. I was
Exactly.
like, is that a word? I was going to
I
say
said,
owl.
why-
Is that a
And I told my
real
boss,
word?
I said, you know, wide freak it open is one way you can say it, but if you
Wide-
want to use the other way, fine, go ahead.
Absolutely.
And they decided they better not. So
But y'all, I mean, how's it going to come off with he's being known as Bad Boy Brad and being a national champion?
he won't be bad. He won't be that way long for Roger.
No.
Roger won't let him be too bad.
No.
Who
we got there, Raj?
Is it my buddy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, Philip, it's Let's Talk Racing. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I got my buddy Al Pearce here, my favorite lady, Terry O'Connell, and then we got down the end, I don't know if you're watching the show, we got
Jason Langley.
Jason Langley.
Jason Langley.
And we're glad to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. I'm glad you could. This is my friend Philip, and how about you give them, and for anybody who's new to the show, a little bit of your racing resume and what all you've done.
Let's see. Go-kart dirt track. Started at the age of 14, and then did that for a little bit, then moved up to the sprints, and took a little break and went and drove ARCA Series for 2.5 years as a sub, off and on. But my overall record on dirt is 20 wins, and a lot of top 10s and 5s.
That sounds great. Do you have any future plans for racing? I know you were telling me you were debating if you were going to do anything soon or coming up.
Well, you know, I'm taking a break for the rest of this season until next season, because basically the race team's very, very low on funds, and I'm trying to keep the race shop up and not have to shut it down. So with the economy and everything, it's getting kind of tough, but we're trying to manage.
Oh, tell them about your funding and how people can help out. You were telling me some information about that. How about you share that with everybody else?
Oh yeah. I mean, if anybody would like to donate, and also we also are getting ready to do a little raffle coming up. We have an autographed Mark Martin race win car from Darlington. It's a 124 scale diecast with certificate of authenticity. And we even got some Junior Motorsports driver suits that we're going to be giving away. But if you guys would like any information, y'all can contact me at Philip, PHILIP, Magic, MAGIC, 21 at gmail.com. And I'll be able to give everybody all the information and go from there with it. You know, that's one of my ways I can, you know, give out stuff and try and raise some money, you know, without having to go in my parents' neighborhood and knock on all the old people's doors and like, hey, can I borrow some money?
crotchety old people.
Exactly.
We were just reading a little bit of an article that he wrote, and he used that word, and I was about to read it, and I was about to turn to him and say, is that a word, Al?
So it's a real word.
If I don't get fed here long, you'll know what crotchety is.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're about to be off the show a little bit, but I do have to ask you something. Do you have a favorite? We were talking about tracks and everything. Do you have a favorite track and a least favorite track?
Oh, I have a very favorite track at Daytona.
Oh, of course you do, because you live around Florida.
No, hold on. There's more to it. I was at the race when Dale Singer won the 500, and I was sitting on the front stretch, like maybe about 300 yards away from the start-finish line after you pass it, and that right there was one of the most memorable times with my dad. that me and him had going to the races as I was a little kid. And, you know, that was my first time my driver won, because I was a Dale Senior fan, and everybody hated me, and I didn't like the, you know, back then I didn't like all the Gordon fans. They had that little rival. But that right there is probably my favorite track, along with Bristol, just because Earnhardt did the bump and run on Terry Labonte, and that's probably another great memory on TV that I saw. My least favorite track, I'm going to have to say it's probably, I don't know, if you know how people in the West are probably not going to like me, Phoenix. I don't like the way they redid it. To me, I miss the grass because it's like they get a little shortcut now with all the pavement, and it's like, I'm like, that's not racing, that's cutting the corners. But, you know, they're having fun, it looks like, and, you know, one day I'll be able to race there.
Oh, you will. I know you'll get there one day. You just got to keep at it. Now, another thing that I usually ask every race driver, and I know you're probably going to be not happy with me, I always ask, what's your most embarrassing racing moment that you've had in racing? What's something you've done that was completely embarrassing?
Oh.
I'm sorry, but...
Oh, I cannot believe you asked me that.
Yeah, I ask every driver that I've interviewed on this show, I've asked that question. Now you get to join that little group there.
Oh, just wait till we talk tomorrow. Oh, man. Let's say getting out of my race car and my fire suit rips from my crotch area down. And didn't realize it till after someone pointed out, and like you can see my boxers and everything. I'm like, oh, sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed the show, but the show's over now.
Now, what was one of your favorite moments where you've raced, like you winning a race, or something that you did in your racing career that was really memorable and that you will hold on to?
I'm gonna have to say it's definitely the time that I won my first dirt race. I started dead last. I was really stinking at it, and it was probably my third race ever on dirt. And next thing you knew, I don't know what happened to me, or if my racing instincts finally kicked in at the age of 14 and a half. You know, saying, all right, you're going through puberty, you need to start winning. And the next thing I knew, I was passing cars left and right. Now, you know, I'm thinking, okay, I probably had something illegal, and they're going to strip me of anything I get that's probably going to be good. Because before then, I was dead last or in the fence. And to pull up and pass the car by 1/10 of a second at the start-finish line on the final lap was the most memorable win I will ever remember. That's really near and dear to me because it was my mom's first race out there watching me race.
Oh, that sounds great. Now you talked about did anybody else in your family race, Philip? Like, did your dad race or anybody else race? Or are you the first one to actually take racing on as something that you want to do for a job and a career?
Well, here's the funny thing. I'm adopted, so, and the family I grew up in, no one raced. No one. I got into racing watching Days of Thunder, and I went to the 1994, back then, Pepsi 400 at Daytona when, as my dad would say, you could hear the fat sizzling off of your body. It was so hot during the daytime. And, seeing those cars and pushing and the way that they raced back in the days, I was like, wow, that's what I want to do. And, as growing up, and I didn't really have because I know a lot of people say to race you got to have family to help. Well, my family was like, man, this is ridiculous. Why are you going to do this? So I've been basically doing it all on my own, trying to save up enough money to do it all on my own. So it's basically just me.
Yeah. I'm going to tell people about your Facebook page. Oh, sorry. Roger's putting some things up there, and I thought you were telling me something. Tell listeners about your Facebook page. They can get more information about you, and they can see more about you. Maybe that can help with your fundings and donations.
Oh, like give them my Facebook information?
Just tell them like your Facebook name, and we can probably put it on the Let's Talk
Yeah, if
page.
y'all want to reach me on Facebook, it's Philip Happy Mullinax, and the last name spelled Mullenax. And yes, I know a lot of people out there. Why is he happy? No, it's not after Kevin Harvick. It's a nickname I got when I was a little kid playing soccer. I would run around laughing the whole time. So, I got the nickname Happy.
That's a good nickname for you, because you usually are a happy fella. Well, I want to thank you for calling, Philip, and you can probably call again. We're about to wrap the show up in a little bit, so...
Not yet, but anyway.
Not yet?
Well, you guys have a great night, and thanks for letting me talk.
No problem. I'll have you back on the show, alright, bud?
Alright, sounds great. Thanks.
You do well, alright?
Did you ask him if he was going to the Snowball Derby?
No, I don't think he is. He lives in Florida.
That's where the Snowball Derby is.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oops.
Snowball Derby.
Oh, you're still on? I thought you were hung up. We were about to hang up on you. We were wondering if you were going to the Snowball Derby this weekend, and are you going to be racing in it?
In Pensacola?
In Pensacola, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be there, but I will not be racing.
Aw, shame.
Unfortunately, I don't have, that was one of the races that we had on our schedule at the beginning of the year, but with funds and everything, and stuff like that, we're not going to be able to race, but I'm going to go up there. It's going to be my first ever Snowball Derby.
Oh, wow, that'll be cool for you to see.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I know that's where Joanna Long comes from, and she's better than Danica Patrick. Probably shouldn't be saying that, but hey.
We were just talking about her before you got on the show, actually.
Who, Danica or Joanna?
Danica.
But, yeah, so, I'll be up there. If y'all want to look for me, I'll probably be wearing a black shirt and black slacks.
I'm pretty sure I'll spot you, and I hope you have a good time up there.
All right, thank you. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Bust his ass.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good night, Philip.
Good night.
Too bad you didn't catch him falling over there. That would have been funny. You caught him falling.
Hit the speaker button if you haven't already.
Okay.
Well, we do have a question from a Facebook messenger. They're asking Terry, what have you raced in your past? And
Oh, wow. Well, okay, yes, obviously, started off in karts, did midgets, sprint cars, super modifieds, late models, and I got one sprint cup race under my belt. And so I've kind of done it all, off and on. We're working on some stuff for this season in the ARCA series and the Nationwide series, and some sprint car stuff out in Knoxville. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So we'll let you know when the funding comes in and we can make an announcement. But we've got the sprint car program pretty much locked down for this coming season, and so we're working on it.
Yep.
Yep. All's good.
You don't want to try outdoor with the truck?
Yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it.
But you got dirt experience too.
Yeah.
That helps out.
I've actually run over the wall at Darrow Door a couple of times. So I know
No,
where
you
the
haven't
wall
told me
is.
that.
You know where the wall is?
If they don't move that pickup truck,
Oh,
they'll be all right.
I mean, just fine, actually. So it'll be fun.
But that would be a good point out to go possibly hit up Red Horse Racing third
Hey, we
team.
could. I never even thought about that. We'll get Robin on that. That'd be fun to
Because
do.
they've let Caitlin Shaw take and run that a
Yeah.
few times. So got somebody with some dirt
Yeah.
experience, throw it to them.
Yeah. Here we go. Lock and load.
Yep.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Al can be the gas man.
Now he'll open the door for you.
Yeah, open the door for him up there. Cha-ching.
All right, I'm out of here. I've had enough.
Oh, but you got a new follower, Terry. On
Enough
Facebook.
abuse.
Good deal.
I've had enough abuse for one night.
I about fell out of my chair.
We love you, Al. We love you.
We'll have Richard Petty
I'm
filming
writing
that
all
for
this
you.
down.
We'll have Richard.
for all this stuff.
We'll call up Richard and let him know you're going to be doing that for everybody.
I'm keeping all this stuff locked in.
Exactly.
Oh, should we retell the story
No, we're not going to tell the story.
No, I think Al's ready to go eat food.
I just want to get under the table.
Oh, it's okay.
I just want to hide.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's all right.
All right. We've had some good time tonight, anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's lots of fun tonight.
Oh, now I can breathe again. Everybody's. We're trying to get red faced like you, Al. Okay.
Make you feel comfortable. Okay?
Hyperventilate and everything else. We'll use some story too. We'll borrow somebody's car and say we drove around with their top down. I'd like to thank everybody for joining the show tonight.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had as much fun as we did.
Oh, I know I did. Yay.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Or you'll see us.
Be safe and turn left.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, drive a 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Let's Talk Racing is brought to you by PC Doctors, Computer Sales and Services. This doctor still makes house calls. And also Hampton Incredible Tees and Signs, both located at 1248 North King Street in Hampton, Virginia.